Now this is some old school JSNIP 4 doom and gloom shiz right here. Someone sent me a message here on email. Realist News Contact. The Swedish government sent this brochure to all houses. In my 30 plus years in Sweden, never got such info before. And last year, talking with my colleague, why Germany did it and what do they know that we don't know. Here's the link to the English version. So I went and checked it out. Here's the site, which I'll link to it for you. The brochure, If Crisis or War Comes, is now or available to download. So, I mean, this is fairly new. See all those videos I used to do, seeing this stuff coming, I'll raise my hand and admit it. I have before. Man, I thought things would be here a lot quicker. We got all this debt in the world. How are they going to deal with it? We've got in our country, this is America, not Sweden. We're going to get to Sweden in a second. Social Security. All these handouts. Oh, that one's going to go bankrupt in 2026. That one will be gone in 2028. How's that going to be dealt with? No one wants to think about that. Our buddies up north in Canada, 100 and something % debt to income ratio, average households. In America, again, $400, $500 bill for something, you'd be hard pressed to pay it. The average person. Why? Because they don't have the money. Got to get a loan. Got to put on a credit card. You know, I'm over here today. My garage door has a problem opening. The one that I use on the right. I'm like, oh, okay. So I help it up. I look, and the thing's busted out of the wall where the wood is. And I guess the spring unwound a bit, caught the electrical wiring that was up there in the midst of it. So I called out a garage door company. They come over, move it over to the board next to it, remount everything. I end up cutting the electrical wire nutting it back together because it took a little damage. But it wasn't hot anyways because of the, it was a light switch for the lights outside the garage. So anyway, so I'm doing that. You know, speaking of money is what I'm telling you. And I call $30 to give you an estimate, and you know, if you end up doing it, we don't charge $30. We'll just do, you know, knock it off the job. Okay. Well, I never get a quote. He just starts working on it right away, and I'm looking at it. I mean, you don't have to replace anything. This garage, the things are brand new from, well, when they redid this house 2 years ago. You know, and no, the guy really didn't live here for a few months, so like they're brand new. But the board that was mounted to the wall had a split in it, and that thing came off. So that's what happened. For me, oh, you're just remounting stuff. Labor only, right? It's gonna be $759. I said, whoa. Wait a minute. $759. You were out here like maybe not even 2 hours. That's like $350, $60, whatever, $70 an hour. He's like, well, you know, we have to retension it and we have to do this. I just select, had like a little iPad, you know. I was like, well, all right, but respring and rerun the tensioner thing, or the cables on the wheels. If you had to do that, if you had to do either of those things, wouldn't you have to kind of do it together anyways? It's, you know, in other words, hey, you need a brake job, but I got to take your rotors off anyways. You know, if someone wants their rotors turned, you're almost paying for a full brake job. You might as well just get the brake pads, you know. So I'm like, don't you have to do that anyways for what you just did today? He's like, well, yeah. I'm like, I'm just going to tell you, there's no way I'm paying $700 and something for someone being here. Service call, labor only. He's like, well, all right, let me see what long story short, he just, you know, this $399, or no, it's $314 or $312, whatever it was. I'll pay that. But even that's $150 an hour. But it's a company, you know, I understand. I'm okay with that. It's like, oh, you move into a nice house. Everybody that has come here to date that I needed anything for has tried to rape me. I'm just going to tell you that. Has tried to rape me. Oh, this guy lives in a big, nice, beautiful house. He must be loaded. I don't think so. You can think what you want to think, but that doesn't mean you get to charge me a whole bunch more than somebody else. So I usually will keep shopping, okay? But it's something like this. I didn't even get a quote. It was just like after the fact. You said you were gonna give me a quote first, and you never gave me a quote. I'll pay $300. A couple hours. So point of that is, imagine the average person just got a $314 bill. I can't get my car in and out. I gotta get it done. I don't have any money. Why don't you have any money? Because I'm an average person. Why are you an average person? Your mind will say, well, because I'm an average person. No. You used to be, or should have been, part of a large middle class, which has been slowly but surely eroding away, getting smaller and smaller. And now the middle class is getting closer to the poor side, while the rich side is getting smaller and smaller over there. Soon there's not going to be a middle class. They'll just be poor and wealthy, and that's it. So what is Sweden? What's the deal with Sweden? Well, you know, Sweden, taking in those immigrants, we're going to help some people. And I love the stories. I mean, I don't really, but I love hearing these stories because I get to say, you freaking idiot, what is wrong with you, you moron? A woman decided to take in a couple of refugees, and they raped her. Another story. Another household lady, and they raped her kids. Well, is Germany letting in refugees too, and all these other countries? Yes, they are. Why, yes, they are. Remember all those stories from Germany, girls out late at night, and I mean, bands of 50 to 100 immigrants just hauling them off and raping them. I mean, so aside from that, how do these people produce money for the economy? How do they contribute? They don't. They have no skills. They're just there to basically feed me, bathe me, and give me a place to stay. That's what the story is right now. How do I know? Because I'm watching other people on YouTube covering it live. Not just speculating, actually live covering this stuff. And I do read the occasional news too, which actually covers it sometimes. So we have that problem with this massive debt they can't deal with. So let's just bring a whole bunch of people over here that we can't pay for and just add that to the taxpayer, you know. And in all this equals a very, very bad ending. The question is when. And when it does happen, what's it going to look like? And I've got a better question for those over in Europe. What's it going to look like when you have all these migrants who've been living like that for a long time? When you, with your middle class lifestyle, you won't be living like them. You will refuse to live like them. But they won't. And when things get bad and the money stops for those people and all the free handouts stop for them, and you too, well, they're going to know exactly how to go get it. Just like they did back at home. They're prepared. That is one skill they have. They know exactly how to go get what they need. And in many of those EU countries, no guns allowed. I wish you lots of luck protecting yourselves. So here's the document. Emergency preparedness, false information in the event of a terror attack, home preparedness tips, total defense, Sweden's defenses, attacks against Sweden, heightened state of alert, and the warning systems. I am very curious about Sweden's defenses on page 8, to be honest with you. Total defense. The term total defense denotes all activities that are needed in order to prepare Sweden for war. Civil defense, military defense. Where's the part about invading immigrants that have now turned on the population? But the main point of this, just like this, what would you do if your everyday life was turned upside down? Why would it be turned upside down? I'm a Sweden. I pay my bills, I pay my taxes. I let the refugees in because my government says it's a good idea and we should care for these people even if they rape our women. Why should we have any kind of reason to have our everyday life turned upside down? CJ Snip 4 for further information. An emergency can result in society not functioning in the way we are used to. Oh, you mean like the good life? The debt-based life, buy anything I want, put it on credit. Refugees come over, we'll pay for that too. Tax the hell out of me, no problem, don't worry about it. Property bills going up, property prices going up, rent's going up, everything's going up but your paycheck. And you're going to have to bail some of those refugees out, unbeknownst to you. That kind of thing. So here's another one. Climate change. Really? Climate change may mean that flooding and forest fires become more common. Incidents in the rest of the world may result in shortages of certain foodstuffs. Disruptions in important IT systems may have an impact on the electricity supply. In just a short time, your everyday life can be problematic. The heat stops working. It becomes difficult to prepare and store food. The shops may run out of food and other goods. There is no water coming from the taps or the toilet. It is not possible to fill up your car. Payment cards and cash machines do not work. Mobile networks and the internet do not work. Public transport and other means of transportation are at a standstill. It becomes difficult to obtain medicine and medical equipment. Your municipality is responsible for ensuring that services including care of the elderly, the water supply, the fire and rescue service, and schools continue to function, even in the event of a societal emergency. As a private individual, you also have a responsibility. Preparing correctly can enable you to cope with a difficult situation, regardless of what has caused it. So, you guys remember that NASA video? Some guy from NASA put out a company, like not an alert, but like a little info broadcast. And it talked about this kind of stuff, being prepared, and we want our NASA family to be... We never heard anything like that in our lives. That was a few years ago. Now Sweden's got a PDF to download. And not only that, this guy tells me they're going to, I guess, mail it to every household. Everybody is getting a copy of this. Why all of a sudden? What are they expecting? Nothing? Because if nothing was expected, you wouldn't have to send this out, now would you? Which is why we conspiracy theorists will be well prepared for these days, should they come. And I'll be able to look back and say, hey, I was doing my role for how many years on YouTube? A long time. I'm still a prepper to some extent, right? I got the things that I need to go for quite a while. And I got that stuff years ago. I haven't had to add anything to my supply. Even got my freaking solar panel sitting in the garage now. Why? Because if I'm moving out of this freaking house, according to my mom, I don't want to install that stuff here, only to leave, you know, give it away basically to the next owner. No, I'll put it up at the next house. But it's very interesting that over there on that side of the pond, Sweden, refugee, you know, haven, is all of a sudden putting this out there. Interesting, huh? Take care.